Hello and welcome to the 1/106th of a second photography podcast. This episode is about the Fimi Palm. Last episode I talked about the ultimate vlogging camera, and there were lots of things that I didn't put in. I didn't put in GoPros, I didn't put in DJI Osmo, I didn't put in Insta360 cameras like the Insta360 Go or the Insta360 One. I didn't put any of those in because it wasn't really an exhaustive list. What I was trying to do was talk about the Sony ZV-1 and what I thought were obvious competitors that people probably hadn't thought of. Because a vlogging camera is nothing new, but it suddenly seems like because Sony have made one that things are all new. So some time ago, I got the Fimi Palm. Now, the Fimi Palm is what I'm going to talk about today. You could consider it a vlogging camera or not. It's probably better than some cameras for vlogging, but there we are. It's essentially a copy of the DJI Osmo Pocket. So DJI are very famous for their drones and their gimbals. A few years ago, they brought out the DJI Osmo Pocket. That's a small sensored camera on a gimbal, and I suppose it looks like a bit of an eye. It fits in your pocket, has a very nice integrated case, and you can walk around and film and talk and vlog maybe, or produce films, and you should get smooth footage. When you walk, you often get some bobbing up and down. To get rid of that, you really need like a fourth stabilization, a fourth axis. You can mount your gimbal on a spring. Even on sort of professional gimbals, you would still get that bobbing. So you still get that on the Fimi Palm and the DJI Osmo, etc. Now, go forward a few years later from the DJI Osmo Pocket, and Fimi Palm has been launched by Xiaomi. It's a blatant copy. It's an exact copy. Snopper have launched a copy and Feitek have launched a copy. So the Fimi Palm is a copy, and it's so much cheaper. Where the DJI Osmo comes with a nice case, the Fimi Palm has a bit of plastic just to protect the camera gimbal. But in some ways it's better. So I paid £150 for my Fimi Palm. It records in 4K up to 30 frames per second, and you can do slow-mo on it, but the slow-mo is not very good. What's really good, apart from the 4K, 2.7K and 1080 footage, which is very good, is the fact that I can do time lapses and I can do motion time lapses. And this is nothing new. If I use one of my smartphone gimbals and I pair it with the app, I can do the same thing, but it's not as good really, and the app isn't as good. So it's nothing new, but what you do, you set a start point, you set an end point, and you do that by moving the camera around, and then you set a duration and a frame rate and how long you want the shutter speed to be, and it will work the rest out accordingly. So you can sweep from left to right or bottom left-hand corner to top right-hand corner over a 5-minute period. And it just makes very good time lapses. You can, of course, do hyperlapses where you walk and you keep your Fimi Palm in the same place. And the Fimi Palm is very small. It's one of the smallest cameras I've got. What you can do is you can turn it on and you can move the camera around, which is really useful. You can change the speed of that. You can connect your mobile phone to it. Connecting the mobile phone doesn't improve the functionality, because everything you can do with a connected mobile phone via the app, you can do on the camera itself. So the camera itself has a small screen, and that's touch screen, and you use that to change your settings. It has a joystick and it has a button and it has an inbuilt mic. Why I said it was better than the DJI Osmo is because, one, due to the way the camera's set up, everything is in focus. So there's no focusing issues. You don't have to do any focusing. On the DJI Osmo, the camera has a more narrow field of view and it can focus on things, but I've heard the focusing isn't very good. In the Fimi Palm, everything's in focus, so there's nothing to worry about. The Fimi Palm has inbuilt Wi-Fi, whereas with the DJI Osmo, you would need to buy an extra module to get Wi-Fi functionality. So Wi-Fi functionality just allows you to view things on your phone or control it via your phone. I bought a little adapter to plug into the bottom to allow me to plug my microphones in, and I've also bought a Type-C USB microphone to plug in as well. I originally recorded the first episode of this podcast on the Fimi Palm using that microphone, but when I listened back to it, it wasn't very good, so I have re-recorded it using my proper podcasting equipment. So the Fimi Palm gives very good footage. It's really a very good vlog camera, but it looks more like GoPro footage. This is obviously a photography podcast, and occasionally I stray into videography. This Fimi Palm can take pictures, but I don't know why you'd want to. It can take JPEGs and it can take DNGs. You can defish the image automatically in the camera. You get a slight crop. That's for photos and videos. And you can have two settings of wide or ultra wide. But again, I don't understand why anyone would use this for photography when you could use a smartphone or a dedicated camera. Yes, this records still images in DNG, which effectively is the same as RAW, and that's nice, but It's 12 megapixels. It's not going to be anyway as good as a camera or a smartphone. You can set the ISO and you can set the shutter speed, but you can't change the aperture. The aperture is fixed. Because the aperture is fixed, I think to record at 1/50th of a second when you're in 25 or 24 frames per second, you'd need some ND filters. Now, again, with this being second to the market behind the DJI Osmo, I think you can use DJI Osmo ND filters and circularizing, polarizing filters. They just clip on the front magnetically. I've not tried any of those, but I know I don't have to wait for a special Fimi Palm one. I can just use the DJI Osmo ones. I would have to check that they work with the Fimi Palm, but that's that. So all in all, it's a really good package. It's got a tripod socket on, which I don't think the DJI Osmo has, so I can mount it on a tripod and do time lapses, which was really the reason I got it, to do motion time lapses, and I can walk around with it and I can record 4K video and I can publish it at 1080 and it looks very good and very sharp. It's simple enough that my children can use it, although I do worry about them. It's obviously more fragile than most action cameras, and really you couldn't consider this as an action camera because obviously the gimbal and the camera are fairly exposed and could break. But so far I've been pleased with my Fimi Palm, although I bought it just prior to lockdown and then lockdown happened, so I've not really had a chance to go out and use it to its fullest potential. I know how to use it because I've made several reviews of it on YouTube and done a few things with it, but I haven't been out to use it as I intended to because I haven't had anywhere to go. I haven't had any B-roll to film. I haven't had to film myself doing anything, which was one of the reasons I got it. Speaking of filming yourself, you can have the gimbal work in various modes: follow mode, FPV mode, gimbal lock, where the camera will stay in the same orientation and position no matter where you move or how you move it. And if you double click on the shutter button or the record button, then it will center the camera if it moves around. But if you triple click it, it turns around the other way and it faces you. And when it faces you, it will lock onto your face and it will track your face. If you have the camera facing you and you have face tracking enabled, it will move the camera head so that your face always stays in frame. And that works remarkably well. So this could be a vlogging camera, and I can see people using it for that because it's wide angle. You could hold it out just under arm's length and it would keep your face in the frame. Of course, it doesn't need to do any focusing, and of course you can attach audio and mics to it, so you could use it as a vlogging camera. I think it's really good. I know this technically is a photography podcast and I don't understand why you would use it for photography, but for videography and getting time lapses, it's a great little camera. Thank you. Stay safe in lockdown, stay safe when out shooting, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.